Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today I want to do a live stream for May 2020, and I was going to do it earlier this afternoon, but unfortunately the power flickered. So what that happened is my computer shut down and my maps had disappeared, so I had to restart on that stuff, and now I got the maps ready to go. I'm going to pull up chat here. So if you guys do have any questions while do this live stream, you can put it in the chat. So let's not waste any time. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here. We got the temperature, precipitation, severe weather, and of course the overall forecast. And we'll also take a look at some models, and even for the Climate Prediction Center's outlook. So let's go ahead and get started with the temperature forecast here. And I think most of the warmth should be staying across the desert southwest, or just generally most of the west, and even across the south. As you can see there is I'm predicting above average temperatures for the desert southwest into portions of the Rockies around Nevada, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, far southwestern Texas, southern California, and Arizona. And that slightly above average region does include Northern California, kind of moves north into Idaho, Montana, then moves southeast into the southeast. These EC's areas here, that means equal chances. That means you could see slightly above average temperatures, where you could be slightly below average temperatures, or overall just average. Another way to put it there. Basically like a flip-flop pattern when you think about that. And let's move on to the Great Lakes region and Northeast. As you can see there is going to be below average temperatures across the Great Lakes, the upper Midwest, and even for the interior Northeast. Surrounding those areas is slightly below average. Temperatures even includes the Northeast coast, goes as far south as the Ohio River Valley, and as far north as towards North Dakota and Minnesota. Let's move on to the precipitation forecast here. And so we'll start off across the west to east here. As you can see, there's going to be a below average region for precipitation, mainly around Nevada, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming. Kind of those areas in there, and that slightly below average region just around for those areas, but it also does include Arizona, California, Oregon, and New Mexico, which portions for those states. And again, EC is basically the same thing. And even across the Great Lakes region, we're going to be seeing below average precipitation as well. We're not going to see really much of any systems that be going by there. There might be potential late in the month, which I'll show you guys that in a moment. Now let's move across the southeast here. I think most of the precipitation should be staying around the Tennessee Valley, but it's going to be dry at first, but then it starts to turn wetter later on in the month, especially late in the month. It'll start to turn wetter mid of the month, which I'll show you guys the CFS model with that. And it even continues along the East Coast as well there. Now, severe weather, in my opinion, was probably the most difficult one to create. And also same thing for precipitation. And where I'm predicting most of the severe weather, I don't really see an above average region for the month of May. But probably the better chance for most severe weather will probably across portions of Montana, the Dakotas, Wyoming, Nebraska, eastern Colorado, most of Kansas, Oklahoma, central and northern Texas, northern Louisiana, most of Arkansas, southern Missouri, northern Mississippi and Alabama, most of Tennessee and Kentucky, and southern Indiana. This is where I predict probably generally slightly above average severe weather. For most of these areas in here, it's not going to be active early May, exception for these areas across the Tennessee Valley, the lower Ohio Valley. You guys will be seeing some severe weather activity in the first couple of days of May, but then things start to change, and pretty much severe weather looking to be mostly quiet. And probably the better chance of severe weather along that period will be along the Rocky Mountains in Colorado and Wyoming. And especially later in the month, the severe weather should be pushing to the north, more into the northern plains. So there might be an above average area might be needed across portions of Wyoming, there in South Dakota and Nebraska, and even for portions of Montana. Probably this general area here might need an above average region, but we'll see about that. And like you've seen in the thumbnail, here's the overall forecast here. So from west to east, across the northwest, especially across Washington, there could be a flip-flop pattern to PNA. Things like it'll calm down a little bit, so that ridge should start to weaken. So you guys might be a little bit more average for some of those areas in there, but we'll see about that. That yellow area there, generally it's going to be warm. Could be dry in a couple areas in there, but overall it should be staying warm. That orange area in there, across Nevada and Utah, should be staying hot and dry overall. You guys are gonna be stuck in that ridge for pretty much for the most part the entire month of May. It's gonna be pretty close. These pinks areas in here, it's gonna be hot, especially when you get into Texas and Oklahoma. Well, mostly Texas, and even across the desert Southwest. There, it's gonna be very hot, and you guys seen a lot of heat recently, and I believe, okay, my phone lost connection live stream. Um, but again, the red area here is the severe weather zone where I see most of the severe weather to be, especially along the Rocky Mountains of Wyoming and Colorado. Those are probably the better chances, especially for the middle and early of May. This large white area is pretty much an average season for May, pretty much average. This dark blue area that is cold and dry. So kind of like winter a little bit, staying cold and dry. We should have seen this months ago back in the winter. It makes me mad. It's making people mad that we're seeing this pattern here. It's literally a perfect pattern for large snowstorms anywhere from the mid-Atlantic to Northeast. That's what we're predicting for the winter, but it was a big bust. So turned out everyone was normal. So that's not good. And we're seeing this happen in April into May, which is very unfortunate there. So this dark green area here, it's going to be staying stormy for pretty much overall. This light green area, it's warm and humid. This blue area here, it's more going to be flip-flop. You're probably going to see a little of everything for May, which includes portions of Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, into portions of Maryland and Pennsylvania. So, like I said, in the first couple of days of May, there's a chance for severe weather for some of those areas. Not all of you guys, but some of those areas, especially across Kentucky and West Virginia. And then later on, should be starting to turn colder, cooler, and drier, especially towards the end of this week, next week, I should say, by the time I'm making this video. And it seems like it'll start to change again later in the month, and I think we should start to turn warmer. For those people, for the areas in blue, and this green area here, that's going to be saying chilly and wet for pretty much overall. And again, guys, if you guys got any questions about this forecast, you can put it in the chat. But let's move on to the Climate Prediction Center's outlook here. We're going to try to get through this very quickly, acting like this is a normal video. So they're predicting most of the above average temperatures looks to be seen across the desert Southwest, portions of Texas, even for portions of the Rockies, even across southern Florida, which I do agree with that. Overall, I do agree with this forecast, but I think the colder air should be more into Minnesota and Wisconsin as well. But overall, I agree with the forecast. So here's the 1 month outlook here. It's kind of all over the place, in my opinion, except for the Great Lakes region. I do agree there. I do agree the Rockies. But what's kind of random is across New Mexico. That's a little random, in my opinion. And even across, uh, well, that's pretty much all my thoughts on that, really. I do agree with the Northeast. I do sort of agree with this here. It's going to be kind of difficult forecast because it's showing kind of like two different setups, two or three different setups in 1 month. And that kind of makes things a little bit more difficult to forecast. So, yeah. And let's move on to the CFS model here. So this is the weekly forecast. We can go through all of the weeks here in May. So this is the first week. So this is from today to May 8th. So that's 7 days out. So that's pretty much a week. So right now, what it's showing here is below average precipitation around the Great Lakes region, the upper Midwest, even across the South, even into the Rockies. Above average precipitation can be seen across the Mid-Atlantic, the far northeastern United States, portions of the plains, and even for the Northwest. Let's move on to a different frame. Things start to change here. Pretty much the entire northern United States starts to get dry, and the southern United States starts to get wet, especially across Texas, or really the southern plains, even across Florida. So that is May 8th to the 15th. Now this is when things we'll start to see some uncertainties here with the CFS model this far out on week 3, which is 15th to the 22nd. Really above average precipitation could be seen anywhere from Colorado, New Mexico, eastward into the Mid-Atlantic, and even across the southeast in Florida. Below average precipitation could be seen across the Midwest, the Great Lakes, even for the far northeastern United States, and even across the Northwest. And this is when things start to change, like I was saying. And I think the severe weather should be moving to the north. So this is the 22nd to the 29th. So we start to see a pattern flip, which I do agree with this here. The CFS version 2, which I was going to show you guys in a moment, but on a different format, showing above average precipitation across the central and northern United States, below average precipitation across the southeast, except for Florida, and even for the west coast. Now let's take a look into the CFS version 2. Probably first time you guys seen the CFS model here. So this is technically version 2, CFS V2. So this is supercell composite. This gives an indication that the environment is favorable for supercells. Not guaranteed there's going to be supercells, but at least be favorable. So like I said, there will be some severe weather chances early in the month, especially across the Mid-Atlantic, the Lower Ohio Valley, even for around Arkansas and Missouri. Now, severe weather looks to be unlikely on on that Sunday. Yeah, Sunday across the plains because there's going to be a cap there, so no storms can really develop in that area. As you can see, there pushes eastward, and this is what I was talking about here: severe weather across the Lower Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valley there early on, but after that, things start to get pretty calm. And it stays like that for the next couple of days, and it seems like it does indicate an uptick for potential supercells across the northern plains, like I said. But this is actually a little bit earlier in the month, and it pushes to the south. But I think there's more likely to be a cap for some of these type of setups here. That's what the supercell composite cannot see, is indicate caps. If we do not have soundings to show you guys that with the CFS version 2, and so yeah, and as we kind of continue on, there's another uptick for a possibility for supercells across the north. Kind of dissipates, and some severe weather may try to form across Texas there, and it even pops up again across the north into the central United States, kind of pushes eastward into the Midwest, Great Lakes. You kind of see the general pattern here. Some severe weather across the south, some severe weather up here. Now, let me show you guys when we get towards the end of the month. Severe weather starts to really get an uptick across the north. And it seems like that's pretty continuous there for the next few days. And that's what we're going to watch for. Especially, like I've said, An above average region might be needed on the severe weather outlook across some of these areas in here. Then probably we'll see the better chance for severe storms. Now, it's less likely they're going to see a cap up there because it's not going to be as warm as across the south here. I think the better chance for capping would be more across southern plains than the northern plains. And that's what typically happens, but in summertime, it's a little bit different. But, it'll still be typically spring. But really, that's all I got for you guys today. Um, Probably wait here for a minute if you guys get any questions in the chat. But if you guys are watching this video, you could just put the questions in the comment section down below. But if you guys did enjoy this live stream or slash video of this forecast, you can hit the like button. If you really do like my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload there. But yeah, and then they start to build later in time here. But I do agree, typically severe weather will move more into the northern United States, especially during the summertime. It's more than likely up here, so yeah. We also do have the Kansas model that updated just last night. So here's the Kansas model showing that. It's really showing a ridge. It's a little bit further eastward here. Do not really pay attention much to the colors. Pay attention to the lines here. So your ridging is right here where I have my mouse. There's some troughing across the eastern United States. I think it's overdoing the precipitation, at least for below average. Overall, I think this is going to be more average for some of these areas in here because, yes, we're going to be seeing some slight below average precipitation for some of these areas due to the pattern early. But as you get later in the month, you start to have a pattern change. So, yeah. Good news is, at least for this month here, at least severe weather is not looking to be that bad in May. And typically, May is where you have most tornadoes in the entire year. And when you look into the charts and stuff, so far, April is second place to have the most tornadoes in one month. And first place was 2011, which I'm sure a lot of you guys probably remembered that. But yeah, guys, I guess you guys do not have any questions, so I'm going to end it here. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this live stream with this May 2020 forecast. If you guys did like this forecast, again, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys got questions about this, watching this video, you can put a comment section down below. I will answer you guys' questions. I'll see you guys